So at the moment it looks like we're gonna get there at 12:15 Z with 6.6 tons of fuel, so it's not too bad. The FMC is recommending flight level 370. The optimum is 376, so that's close enough, and the maximum level we can go to at the moment is 383. You can see the FMC is also suggesting a step to flight level 390, but it says that we can't do it at none, so we can actually go 0 here at the step and then get rid of the step reference up here, because we can't do it anyway, so we may as well. That's it. Because it's an EICAS driven aircraft, you don't really need to check the overhead panel or anything, because any problems here would come up on the EICAS, so there's no worries. But some people would check the status, see if anything's come up. The status is inhibited for 30 minutes from the start of the engines, so if you've got any status messages here, it won't show up until after 30 minutes after you start the engines. So a few people also would look at all the synoptics. I mean, everything is working well, hydraulics is good, there's no problems here. The fuel, the air. At the moment the cabin is actually climbed fairly high, 6,100 feet. The rate is 0 and we are almost at max differential pressure here, so it's good. Flight controls are all good. The gear, well, all the tires are inflated. They usually have between 200 and 230, I believe it's PSI. I'm not sure what the unit of measurement is, to tell the truth, but that's the value we're kind of looking for, 200 to about 220, something like that. Here I guess with the simulation it's a little bit of a similar figure for most of them. And obviously the brakes are cold at this stage. There's usually a bit of residual heat from the taxiing in and stuff, from the taxiing on the ground before you take off. If you use the brakes a little bit, it wouldn't cool down that quickly, but here it's already all cold. The doors, they're all closed and armed. This one was the gear. That's pretty much it. Yeah, the night is slowly settling down. Yeah, that's Singapore down there. Yeah, Singapore is down here, I think. It's cool. Where's our friend, the sun? Oh, the sun is gone. Oh no, the sun is still here. Oh, cool. That's quite a nice nice sunset with the high cloud here. I've got the mouse, the control of the aircraft. It's quite cool. You can see some of the stars. I don't know if you see the stars on the stream, but on my screen there we can make them out. Yeah, so yeah, we'll definitely land nighttime in Jakarta, but that's alright. We can do a bit of nighttime flying as well. Right, so what I'm gonna do, gonna have a 1 minute break and I'll be back in 2 seconds. Stay tuned. Hello, I'm back. We're still flying. It's good. It's getting a little bit darker, which is nice. And yeah, some of you may have noticed I decided to not to put all the stream videos on the YouTube channel, and we'll just put the link on of some of the videos I decided not to publish on the channel. I'll still put them on the channel, but I'll make them only available via the Facebook page. So I invite you to go on the Facebook page and then view the videos if you're interested via the Facebook page only. Otherwise, there should be a new video published this coming Friday. A little tutorial. A little bit, just to give a bit of a heads up, just a bit of a continuation on the how to read the IFR charts video published a couple of weeks ago. So that would be a little bit of a continuation on that. Something a little bit similar. Just to give you a heads up, I won't say more. I don't want to spoil the fun, but just as a bit of a taster already. Apart from that, nothing's really new. Nothing's much happening. The only thing really I'll try to change is incorporate the flight planning in the stream before the actual flight, of course. See if I can make it work, because it's still work in progress. So we'll see if that works. If it works, I'll implement that change, and also I'll put a link for the flight plan if you want to download the flight plan and see how the flight plan works with PFPX. Otherwise, same old really. If some of you also are interested in suggesting routes or something like that, I might also consider the suggestions. The way I usually pick up a route is just kind of look around online, see what destinations and what aircraft and what airports get what flights, and just basically have a quick brainstorm. Sometimes use Flight Aware to see what the flights are between two cities and what the aircraft types used are, or whatever, like tickles my fancy, so to speak. So yeah, so if you have any suggestions as well, I'll take them into account. Some of you, if you have visited the Facebook page, you saw I was in Amsterdam about a week ago or something like that, and it was quite cool. The panorama terrace, I think, as it's called at Schiphol Airport. It's got a good view on all the aprons and all the parking areas, the gates Delta and Charlie, I think it is, and Echo as well. So you've got a good view of most of the aprons, and a bit of a more distant view to runway 24 and also runway 18 left. But it was quite cool to spend a few minutes up there, a few moments, and just enjoy the view and breathe a bit of fresh air. That was quite nice. So I posted a few photos on the Facebook page as well. So that's quite good. And the idea of this flight actually came then. I thought, that's KLM fly, short flights. And then I can't remember really where, I heard that they were flying to Kuala Lumpur and then on to Jakarta. And I thought, it's good. It's a short flight, 1.5 hours. I don't really want to do a stream of 14 hours or something, because obviously it's fairly long. I will need to go to sleep at some point, and nobody's gonna watch a stream for 14 hours. It's already quite hard to get people to stay tuned for a couple of hours. So imagine if you fly for 14, it doesn't really make sense. So that's why most of the time as well I try to keep the flights as short as possible. Unfortunately, on the 777, there's not a lot of short flights because obviously the 777 is a long-haul aircraft. So, but there's still quite a few short flights around, like this one, or sometimes also like a little bit like this flight, like a continuation of a service onto another destination. So like today, flying to Kuala Lumpur and then on to Jakarta. There's other flights like that all the way around. So these are good flights to do on stream. But as I said, flying like 14 hours on stream is, I don't think there's, I'm sure you will agree, I'm not sure people would watch for the 14 hours. So yeah, that's a little bit of the philosophy behind all those streams. So they're showing me a top of descent in 300 miles. It's not too bad because still a bit of time. It's definitely dark now. We left Singapore behind, and the sun is on the other side. Sorry, I don't have the 360 view on this. I only have the 180 view. Yeah, the sun is well down. There's still a bit of a glow there, a halo, but the sun is down. Cool. The operating cost of 777. I think it's quite a wide subject. As far as the for example the fuel costs are concerned, like on a flight like this flight, you know, you take on about 19 tons of fuel. So I'm not sure exactly what the price of fuel is, but you can imagine it's a fair amount of money, plus all the flight crew and the cabin crew salaries and sector pays and all that stuff, the airport charges, all the ground handling. So it's the navigation charges as well for ATC, so it's a fair amount, and then it depends as well on, I guess, on how the airlines do it. Some airlines have a lower cost base than others, so yeah, depends on that as well. Some airlines are maybe more willing to well, waste, I was going to say waste money, is not maybe waste money, but be more generous in the way they operate the aircraft, and other companies will be very tight and control every single cost to try to minimize the cost. So it's yeah, it's difficult to say really, but that's why sometimes we on shorter routes we tanker fuel, because by tankering fuel that allows us to have sometimes like be able, once we get to the turnaround destination, to come back without having to fuel during the turnaround, or otherwise minimize the fuel uplift. Because the fuel cost is sometimes much higher at the turnaround destination rather than, you know, at the origin airport. So so that would be a way to kind of save some of the cost. Yeah, well, I would say that fuel is one of the major expenses, along with staff, and then as you point out, you know, all the ATC charges, all the catering, all the ground handling, all these things as well. But yeah, it's a wide topic, and as far as I think, I'm not really too well versed into all these things, but I think in terms of aircraft, most companies lease the aircraft, so if you want, they pay some sort of a rent on the aircraft. Very few airlines own all the aircraft. So because they lease the aircraft, the cost in itself is not too bad, and they lease the aircraft maybe for 10-15 years or whatever. I think in the long term it actually costs them less. And you hear like all these announcements when you have, like, you know, Boeing air show or aviation air shows all the way around the world, and some companies order, like, you know, 10, 20, 50 aircraft. They do actually buy the aircraft, but then they sell them to the leasing companies, and apparently when they sell the aircraft to the leasing companies, they actually make a profit on that. So they actually make money by purchasing the aircraft and then giving them to or selling them, I guess, to the to the leasing companies. So that's one way for the airlines as well to make money, which someone told me, and I was not aware of that at all. Yeah, whenever there's like, you know, big orders published, you know, in the press from airlines, they actually they actually purchase the aircraft, but then sell them on to leasing companies. So they don't actually own the aircraft, but by selling the aircraft to those leasing companies, they actually make a profit. Anyway, we're passing Anito, which is the boundary between Singapore and Jakarta, if I'm correct, if I remember well. And yeah, maybe it's time to have a look at preparing the descent. So to prepare the descent, first of all, check the recall, check the status. Check the status, for example, if the GPS is kaput, we cannot fly a RNAV approach. So sometimes the GPS will come on the EICAS, but also it can come only on the status. So that's one of the reasons why. And check if there are any notes and descent checklist. And there are no notes. I mean, everything's been working fine, so there shouldn't be. And then we'll work on the FMC. Go to the descent page. Yeah, no. I've changed that again. So we probably not been halfway through yet, or the first 400 miles, because they're still referring back to Kuala Lumpur. So we'll go to index, Jakarta there, Whiskey India 3 times, and arrivals. And let's see what the weather is doing. Shouldn't be too bad. Should be variable 0403. Oh. Should we try? Let's wait a little bit. Well, let's try 07 left then, maybe. 07 left would be good. Yeah, let's try that. Normally it's 25 right, but let's try 07 left. So let's see the chart for Jakarta. So Bunik 1 Alpha it will be. Yeah, Nocta. Okay. I don't have the Bunik 1 Alpha there. Why is that? Flap 20, Boeing 777, flap 20 is, if you want, is a non-normal flap setting. It's not a normal landing flap setting. The normal landing flap settings are 25 and 30. 20 is for like non-normal situations. So 99% of the time we would use flap 30. Flap 25 is optional. We would use flaps 25 for the 777-200ER and freighter when the landing weight is relatively light. But otherwise we would use flaps 30 most of the time. So what's that? Bunik, Oslo, Bunik, done. So yeah, the Navigraph database there is not really up to scratch. Okay. Let's see. Where's the charts? Okay, so from Bunik we'll go via Ramal. No. It's not correct. Okay, so it's not gonna be this arrival. And the other arrival, Bunik 3. Oh! Bunik 1 Bravo is here. Or 1 Alpha. Okay, 1 Alpha. Why is 07 right? It's not. It can be the left as well. That's not right. So there's, you see, there's a problem with the database. So the Navigraph database usually works alright, but in this instance is not working well. Bunik 1 Alpha would be Bunik Ramal Nocta Oscar Sigas. Surya. CKG Surya. I know, actually the database might be right, but the chart shows 07 left and right. So I'm not really sure what it's trying to do there. Yeah, because looking at the chart, it looks like the Bunik 1 Alpha actually is for 07 right. Well, let's do 07 right then. Okay, not gonna. So Bunik 1 Alpha, 07 right, via Nocta. Execute that. Back to the chat. Insufficient fuel, why is that? So PKP, Boslo, Bunik, that's correct. Bunik level 290 above, Ramal 250 or above, as set, 280 knots, okay. And Nocta level 210, it's a half altitude and 250 knots. No, max 265, so it's 265 actually. Not that according to the chart, so the database there is wrong. That's why we need to double check it. Sufficient fuel, yeah, I'll go back to that. Nocta, then we go to Oscar 50130 and 250 knots, yeah. Then Kakap 10,000. Hold on, there's inset on the chart. Max 240 knots, 10,000, yeah, that's correct. Then we go to Dakar 210, 7,000. Sepat 5,190, Sigas 4,190 as well. then Surya. Yeah. Then from Surya, I think we're gonna go to 248 Romeo. So the Nocta transition actually doesn't, no, so to the CF07, right? So execute that. No, so directly to the OM07, right? Yeah, that makes sense. So we've got the whole kind of circuit there. And the missed approach for the ILS. So the arrival is set. And then for the ILS, '07 right. They can land on both runways now, I think. It's not a problem. Until 18 CGK, yeah, that's correct. Then 090 to Esala. Line 075 to Esala, 7,000 feet. Okay. So I think the insufficient fuel should have disappeared. Cool, so that's set. Around to top of descent, still almost 200 miles. That's good. The QNH I've got from the latest weather was, it's gonna be around 1011 or something, probably 1008. Okay, preset that, and the minima for runway 07 right, 240. It's a little bit bright. It's a little bit better actually. Yeah, it's crazy to think that in some parts of the world it's already nighttime. It's terrible. It's much faster in the aircraft. Here, for some reason, that's something they've not like simulated very well. It takes forever to set the minimum. And sometimes I can make it a bit faster, but today, for some reason, it's not working. It's going sometimes from 10 to 10, but today it's only going one by one. Anyway. Then to set the VRF, like always, we look at our landing fuel 5.8, and we add that to the zero fuel weight, so 215 plus 5.8, that would be 220.8, plus 0.2, that would be 221. So in the gross weight of the reference, 221 tons. You can still count flap 30. That would be 140. That's about it. We raise this one. The transition altitude for Phuket is 130, so that's what I had here on the forecast. As well, 130 is correct. I will set runway 07 right. And 8 miles. So reference. Auto brake 2, and that's pretty much it, I think, at this stage. We got VRF, we got minima, we got QNH preset, and we've got the auto brake is set and the FMC is set. We've got decent information, and forecast is filled in. The legs page, all the sequencing is correct. We've got an ILS approach with missed approach as well. It's good. We've got a VRF here, we've got the fixed pages, so that's all good. No, hold on. Oh, either it's very bright or it's too bright. Anyway. And that will do. This one is a little bit on the bright side, but hey, what to do? Cool. Descent checklist.
Descent checklist. Recall.
Checked.
Can't read. Checklist. Item NOTES.
Checked.
Auto brake.
Set. As required.
Now set. Now set. Landing data.
Completed.
Approach. Briefing.
Completed.
Descent. Checklist complete.
Cool. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Excelente. So that's it. We're all set up. So yeah, on the cruise at night, usually you would fly with the storm light on like this. Otherwise you fall asleep. Change of view. Panel float. Play a little bit. The panel float we don't really need too much. It's down as well. Beautiful. They've done a really good job recreating this aircraft in the simulator, I have to admit. It is really, really good. And roll display as well. Back to center. Ah, it's going full bright. Ah, bugger, why did I touch that now? It's trying to get it back to center. Try one bit by one bit. Oh no. Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyway. And yeah. Cool. So we're gonna pass the Boslo and then Bunik and then bien. For the fuel. Position report at Papa Kilo Papa. We had 9.1 tons of fuel. And we did it. Papa Kilo Papa. 8.6. So we've got 500 kilos extra. That's good. Oh, we've got a bit of weather showing here. East of Whiskey India Papa Papa, which is I think I did there, India Papa, yeah, it's a place called Sultan Badarudin II Airport. And there was tempo there until 1400, or between 10 and 1400, which is now, so it seems to be happening. For 4,000 meters in thunderstorm rain. So that's quite good. You know, the weather is here, depending if it pushes towards the airport. The weather is actually fairly well simulated. That's good to see. Great. So we're gonna get there with 5.8, which is not an enormous amount of fuel, to tell the truth. But we've got 2 runways in Jakarta, plus the alternate airport as well, which is close by. So, but yeah, that's unless you take extra fuel yourself. But otherwise, that's pretty much the way the flight plans would be done. Would give you a kind of minimum amount of fuel. The weather was forecast to be good for Jakarta, so dispatcher wouldn't give you much more fuel than what is required. But as you saw in some of the streams where I had to go around, then when you go around for some reason, the fuel goes away fairly quickly. You need a lot of fuel for a go around and then the time to reposition. So something to think about, which obviously the dispatchers don't always think of. It's true 99% of the time, you know, you get there and you land and that's it, you know, story closed. But yeah, if you have to go around and you've got only 5.8 tons of fuel in the cans, then basically once the go round is finished, you're left with about 4 tons, 4.2 tons, and you're already in a normal situation, because you're probably gonna get the fuel quantity low EICAS coming up. And at this stage you've got to consider landing flaps 20, so that would be as we were talking, you know, landing flap 20, landing flaps 30. In that case you would have to land flap 20, and it's because it's considered a non-normal situation, and then, you know, flap 20, you're going fast, it's not the same type of flare. A little bit, you're coming in a little bit flatter on the flare, because the aircraft attitude is a little bit higher, and yeah, it's not a great situation to be in. And then the final reserve is basically the last 30 minutes of fuel sits around 3 tons, 3.1 tons, so you don't have a lot of fuel to play with afterwards. But yeah, they don't always think about that, and as I said, I mean, 99% of the time everything goes well, so we kind of plan on 99% of the time. Everybody's still here? Nobody's fell asleep? That's good. Nobody's bombed out of their brains. That's progress. Cool, Bill. Let me see. For you, it is. I've got my time zones apps. For you, is it 10 to 8 in the morning? Is that correct? Are you on the eastern coast? See, it's morning time on the east coast of the states, and it's already night time in Indonesia. You know? It's crazy to think about that. Cool. It makes me feel actually like having another coffee today. Maybe once I finish this now, I'm not gonna go and make myself a coffee. I'll make a coffee and maybe after the stream. What would be interesting to do on the stream, although I guess it will take a little bit of time, would be to do a flight, well, first like over the Atlantic, and this time like finish it, not do like last time where I had to go back, and then another one over the North Pole. That would be quite interesting to do as well. But I guess to fly over the North Pole, it's maybe better to do it during summertime, because during winter time, I guess most of the time it's gonna get dark up there, so flying at night once again, it's maybe not the best. But yeah, that would be quite interesting, I think. Oh, you're moving. Oh, cool. Well, I hope everything goes smoothly. As you know, I moved a few months back already, and yeah, it's always a little bit stressful. Make sure everything's gonna work okay. You're moving to a nice area. Okay, cool. Excellent. At least you've got all your habits and you know where you're going. It's not as if you're moving to a different town altogether, and you've got to kind of work out where the shops are, where the restaurants are, where all the amenities. That's good. Arrival on 12:25. Perfect. Oh, cool. You have a lot of stuff to pack. Yeah, you always realize, you know, you say, oh, did I have all that stuff? You know, what am I doing with all this stuff? We've got weather update 1130Z 080 at 2, so still kind of favoring runway 07. Scattered at 2000 feet, 29 degrees, 1009. So the QNH is going up by 1 notch. And yeah, when ready, descend 50290. Set 290. Still no ATC. It's evening time, Sunday evening time. But no ATC. It's a shame.